Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all help. Oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we're delighted you're here. We're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. And if you'd like to call us, and you may want to call us today, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. And there's a link to your instructors on the website, usaprepares.com, and please click on the instructors tab. Today I'm delighted to be doing a special broadcast with Gene Lewis. And he's the author of Survival of the Slickest. Survival of the Slickest. He has been to many of our meetups. You'll see him, Monday nights at the meetups. He's been coming for years. He's been at the Get Prepared Expos. And he has experience in dealing with this legal morass that we seem to find ourselves in. Welcome, Gene Lewis.
How you doing, Vince?
It sounds like you got connected just at the last minute. That's wonderful. I'm so glad.
Oh, yeah. 10 seconds to spare.
Gene, when you speak to the meetup group, you could hear a pin drop in the room because in the restaurant at Jimmy's Egg, because what you say is so valuable. And, there's so many places we could start today. But, for example, some of us at USA Prepares have been arrested. Some of us have been imprisoned. The police have been called on some of us, even me. And, for what? What have we done? And if you look at the police, they are the enforcers and they use guns and they use machine guns and high-powered weapons of control. And it bothers me. Gene, I think that if we saw police without guns and they were trying to instruct us to what to do and they didn't have their guns, we would look at them as clowns, dressed up in these ridiculous-looking uniforms. I mean, take away their guns and they look like clowns.
Absolutely. They dress themselves up in gunpowder. And without that gunpowder, the emperor has no clothes.
Right.
So everyone should look at it that way. And so we have this major consumer problem. It's a major, major problem. And I call it a consumer problem because people think that there is a defense against this. And there is no defense. Because they have the guns and you don't have them. And so, we have this court system that was created to give us the illusion that we do have a defense, but we really don't. So, the Constitution has created a Second Amendment, and one of the purposes of that Second Amendment was supposedly to defend ourselves. But how do we defend ourselves against a government that has nuclear weapons and all we have are cap guns? It's just very difficult. So we created this upper class of people that we call lawyers, and they are supposed to defend us against this evil government that uses this gunpowder to control us. So after all this has happened, we think that this lawyer is going to do something for us, but he's actually part of the same team that's fighting us. So that's why I call it a legal cartel. A legal cartel meaning it's a group of people who control a market. It's a government-controlled monopoly, the legal system, the lawyers.
You know, when you say it this way, it brings to mind the memory. I was traveling in Virginia on a 2-lane highway with a median. Actually, it's a 4-lane highway, two lanes in each direction. And I had a truck full of a whole bunch of stuff strapped down. And because of the load that I had, I was traveling in the slow lane. And these cars were coming up behind me and whizzing past me. And next thing I know, I get pulled over, lights and sirens, and I get pulled over, and this cop says, you know why I pulled you over? And I said, oh, absolutely. You used your radar gun, and you picked up those cars that were flying by me, and you stopped me. Yeah, I know why. I know what this is all about. You're just picking on me. And he was annoyed, and I said, I'll see you in court. So I go to court, and then here's what they offer me. I was absolutely not guilty of anything other than being in the wrong place. And they offered me a ticket, and I said a reduced fine. And I said, you know, that's going to cost me 3 years worth of increased insurance premiums because of what you did. I didn't do it. And they said, how about if we make it a loud muffler? The point of this is you're in a position where you're willing to pay for something that you shouldn't pay for because the threat is so large. And what would it cost? Well, another day without work, right? You have to take a day off and sit in that courtroom, and you look at that guy with the black dress on, and you look at the guy with the gun, the bailiff, and you look at the prosecutor, and you think, man, do I want to do this again? Or is it worth $100 fine? You know, we got it down from a $300 speeding ticket, which we didn't deserve, down to something much less. And I believe that so many people will take that deal because it's convenient and it's less. And it's an outrage, Gene. It really is.
The whole concept of settlement is an outrage. And let me give you something that you could possibly use if you are asked to settle. And I would say that tons of people every day are asked to settle. So you get pulled in for passing a red light, and it's a $400 fine. So when you go into court, before you go into court, the judge says, well, you know, try to talk to this prosecutor and try to work it out. Or the prosecutor will contact you, actually, and he'll say, we're going to talk first before you go into court. Because the goal is to try to settle it so that you don't have to go to court. So the prosecutor says, all right, you know, it's going to cost you $400 and 3 points, which is going to raise your insurance if you are found guilty here. And you will be found guilty because nobody gets away. You're automatically found guilty. It doesn't matter what the evidence is. You'll be found guilty. However, I looked in my book here, and it looks like you might have a broken mirror on the left side of your car. Now that's only $800, but there's no points. So why don't you just settle for the broken mirror, and then you get no points. You paid $800, and it's all over with. It's not on your record. No problem. So they're using this extortion for this $800. So I guess what you could do is tell him, tell the prosecutor, well, you know, well, that would be fine, but you know, I'm going to have to tell the judge that you're lying, that we're lying here. And do you really want me to lie? And you know, you could get into some of this stuff. And by the way, that is an ethics violation for a prosecutor to prosecute you for something that never existed. And you could actually complain if you could prove that he actually offered this to you, which it's usually verbal. But it's an ethics violation, and he could be slapped on his record, his authorization to practice law. So that's just a little tidbit there, something that you could keep in the back of your mind. You're not totally helpless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I was stopped another time. I was driving a vehicle with out-of-state license plates. Our daughter returned a car after about 5 years to us, and it had Virginia tags on it. The tags expired in a month, and that's when I was going to. She just returned it to us. I had it for a couple days. During that month, I was going to register it in Missouri. And I was in this, it was getting dark. It was rainy, foggy. And I was going up a hill, and these three cars were coming down a hill between the farm and Lebanon, Missouri. And next thing I know, I'm pulled over by the state police, the highway patrol. You know, lights flashing. I pulled over to a safe spot. And the cop said, license and registration. He was really, really hostile. I gave my license. I told him that I was armed. I said the registration's in the glove compartment, and license is in my back pocket. Would you like me to reach over there and get the license and get the registration? And he said, yeah. And I said, I'm armed. He said, I don't care about that. It's okay. He probably had a gun screwed into my ear, and I just didn't see it at the time because he was behind me. You know, standing off where they can shoot you from the back. They shoot you in the back, right? That's what they do. And so he went to his car, and I thought he was just going to check me out and, you know, and everything was going to be okay. No, I got a speeding ticket for 74 and a 55. And I said, well, I've got your badge number. I'm going to see you in court. You got the wrong guy. It was one of those other guys coming down the hill, if anybody. It wasn't me. I was going uphill, just tooling along. And, you know, this 74 and a 55, that's pretty significant. It would have been points. It would have been increased insurance. I said, let me tell you who I am. I'm a broadcaster. I'm on a radio station in Springfield, Missouri. And I'm going to talk about you, and I'm going to name your name every single day until this situation is resolved. And, by the way, I've got a couple questions. What are you doing on private property with your lights off, sniping with your radar gun? In the dark, what are you doing? He said, it's policy. And I said, whose policy? And he told me that it was the guy who was running the shift. That'd be the sergeant. I said, okay, so why aren't you out there protecting and serving? He said, well, this is what we do. And so they're in the revenue generation department. And you know what? My ticket has never materialized. It's never shown up. It's disappeared.
Wow.
It's disappeared. Yeah. Literally, it's gone. It's been years. So I threatened to expose them, and they didn't like that. They really didn't like that. And I don't have a really high opinion and a high regard for cops because they're in the revenue business at the muzzle of a gun. Gene Lewis and I'll be right back. Survival of the Slickest. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hi, Pat Matthews again. I want to talk to you about selling online. And when I say selling, I'm talking about your home, your car, and even buying a house or a new set of wheels. There's a new kid in town, and that's buysellmakeoffer.com. The revolution has already begun, and I invite you to be a part of it. You see, get in on the ground floor because buysellmakeoffer.com never charges item fees. Can you imagine what the other guys might charge you for selling a car on their site, let alone a house? Well, buysellmakeoffer.com doesn't do that. And you can use Skype and YouTube videos to sell your products, big or small. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and set up your account. For as little as $7.95 per month, you can sell up to 50 items. And they'll give you the first 30 days free just to try it out. Remember, no per item fees. Join the revolution today. buysellmakeoffer.com. and tell them Pat Matthews sent you. This is Dan Pilla. Do you have the IRS money you can't pay? Are taxes crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
My name is Don Wiskin. In 1994, I lost my 62-year-old father to complications of bypass surgery. In 1977, my 44-year-old brother was found dead in his apartment. He suffered a heart attack. In January of 98, my mother had a stroke and passed away in her bed. 21 days later, my 53-year-old brother passed away on his arrival to the hospital. He waited too long. In June that same year, I almost joined them at 42. What did I do? I took a 7-herb formula I now call Extendivite, made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, hawthorn, milk thistle, and valerian. Based on German studies of natural medicine, Extendivite is designed to clear blocked arteries, clean the toxins from your blood, and improve your immune system. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website, heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Plus, Gene Lewis is with us, and his book is called Survival of the Slickest, and it's available on Amazon.com. And there's a post on USAPrepares.com, page number 1, and there's a link to a free read of part of the book. So if you're interested, USAPrepares.com, page number 1, and you'll see the post for Gene Lewis. Gene, we had a really famous lawyer come to one of our meetups. I invited him, and this guy's an author, and he's a criminal lawyer. I don't know if you were there with that. I didn't want to mention his name, but I had a problem where I was attacked by a Missouri representative, and there was an emergency injunction to shut down our expo, and this guy, this Missouri rep, was out of control. And so I called for assistance to stop this. It was the day of the expo. People were setting up, and there was an emergency injunction to shut us down. I mean, that's, when I talk about how despicable these politicians are, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So literally, the cops were going to come and raid us and shut us down if I didn't do something. So I called for this attorney's help, and you know what? He wouldn't even return my calls. And so I invited him to the expo years later. To the meetup years later, and he said something like this. I'm just paraphrasing. He said, if you really need help, and you have to have a lot of money. Don't call me unless you have a lot of money. Were you there for that?
I was there for that, and one thing I could say about a lot of money is I have this simile, I guess you can call it, this comparison that let's say if the average person makes $20 a day, $20 an hour, and after his taxes are taken out, his expenses of gas and traveling back and forth and clothes and all that, after all that's taken out, he has $10 left. So he brings home $100 a day. That's $500 a week after everything is all taken out. That's clear. And that's actually a pretty good amount of money for some parts of the country, even $500 a week. So then you go to a lawyer who's a big-name lawyer, similar to the fellow you're speaking about. I don't know what he charges. But a lawyer might charge $300 to $500 an hour for 1 hour plus expenses. So in 1 hour, you could burn up a week of work. So now what if you need 100 hours. Now it's making payments. And so the cost is just crazy. And the biggest problem is that you have no recourse because it is a monopoly. It's a legal cartel. It's a legal monopoly sanctioned by the government. And there is no such thing as competition to that monopoly. You have to pay that amount. Now, just a little tip here, by the way. Lawyers do, not all of them, but lawyers do negotiate. And I will tell you that a lot of times you can find a top quality lawyer who would normally charge $300 to $500 an hour or even $150 an hour. And a lot of times you could find them and they'll work for $25 or $50 an hour. And a lot of them do pro bono work, but that's really tough to get a lawyer to do pro bono work, which means that they help you for free, but they are required. I don't know if it's a requirement or not, but it's something that every lawyer likes to have written down somewhere that he did so much pro bono work or charitable work every year. And just like everybody else does different types of charitable work, lawyers will offer their services. But lawyers, it is negotiable. And in fact, I believe, and I don't remember totally, I believe in New Jersey, it's even a requirement that the lawyers tell you that all the fees are negotiable. Or at least every lawyer that I've hired in Jersey, and I have hired lawyers, by the way, every lawyer who I've hired, I believe, has said, well, here's my price, and I just have to let you know that it's negotiable. Now, Missouri, I really don't think I've ever hired any lawyer here. Oh, yes, I did. I hired a lawyer once in Missouri, and I was not told that it was negotiable.
Gene Lewis was with us, and his book is called Survival of the Slickest, Everyone's Risk of Being Terrorized by Lawyers. And I think it's a great title. And I've got a relative who's a lawyer. I haven't talked to him in 30 years, nor do I want to. We'll be right back.
Don't know what's in your drinking water? Better get a Pro Pure. With the Pro 1G 2.0 all-in-one filter, remove over 200 contaminants, including fluoride and lead. Taste water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of Pro Pure water filtration products. There's a Pro Pure system for you. Visit your authorized Pro Pure dealer for details on our current free shipping special or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Hey, I rode the elevator with you, but I don't work on the upper floors. I just want to squeeze in there right next to you, so the RFID scanner in my pocket can capture all your personal information, your debit and credit cards, even your work ID badge. So your identity is now my identity. Going up, so am I.
For over 10 years, ID Stronghold has pioneered RFID blocking wallets and ID badge holders for consumers, the U.S. military, and even the Executive Office of the President. Shouldn't you be protected too? ID Stronghold wallets cost about the same as wallets in most stores, but give you extra protection.
I'm Walt Augustinowicz, founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. Don't be a victim of electronic pickpocketing. Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold wallets, card sleeves, and purses.
Visit idstronghold.com and get the original RFID blocking wallets and badge holders. idstronghold.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Hi, my name is Nick Lupo. One World Whey has been by far the best protein that I've ever had. I take it 3 times a day. Once in the morning as soon as I wake, once for a pre-workout snack, and once for a post-workout recovery drink. It has helped me transform and sculpt my body into what I have now. I began taking the product about 2 years ago, and boy, let me tell you, I'm in the best shape of my life. I've seen major muscle mass gains and have 0% body fat. I have had people at my gym ask if I compete in bodybuilding because of how lean and muscular I am. I used to suffer from everyday aches and pains from hard manual labor my whole life and arthritis that runs through my family. But One World Whey has helped me take that everyday pain from a 10 to a 3. Some days I feel no pain at all, just full of life and energy. It has also helped my skin look younger and healthier. Thank you, Synergistic Nutrition, for One World Whey.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworldwhey.com.
You know, class, the meetups and the expo are really neat because you get a chance to meet people like Gene Lewis. And one of the things that we were talking about in the previous segment was how much of your hard-earned wages, you know, if you have a job, go to protecting yourself or hiring someone to allegedly protect you from the evil machine. And Gene, you know, you've said that you can take $150,000 of your savings to prove your innocence. Now, what would that actually cost in earnings? Well, you know, for most of us, if you actually look at the amount we pay in taxes, it could cost between $300,000 to $450,000 of gross earnings in order to pay $150,000 to prove your innocence. That's out of control, Gene.
It's impossible for the average person. It just can't happen. So what will happen is that if you get into a situation where you have to defend yourself and you believe that a lawyer is going to be able to do that for you, which is not necessarily the case, but let's say you want to go the route of just hiring one of these guys and you don't have the money. So as you were talking about this particular criminal lawyer said, you really need a lot of money to work with me. So what do? Well, there is actually an option. You can get a free lawyer to court. You fill out a poverty form, basically. They have other names for it in different states, and I'll just call it a poverty form. And you write down the fact that, you bring in $300 a week after taxes, and out of that you spend $400 a week, and you fund it costs you $100 a week, or you go into the whole $100 a week, and you just can't afford to keep your family going. And so you prove to them that you can't afford money. So they appoint a free lawyer. Now, in a state court, and again, this varies by state. Each state is different. But in a state court, as opposed to a federal court, and most people go to state courts, in a state court, the legal system will pay, or I should say the government will pay between, let's say, $500 and $1,000 to a lawyer. So they give this guy $500 to $1,000 to give you $500,000 of legal services that you need. So now, is this guy going to go out and hire an expert witness that costs $5,000 if he's only making $500? And how many hours is this guy going to put in on it? So what's he going to want to do? He's going to come to you and he's going to say, I got you a great deal. Instead of going through all this trial and all this pain and suffering and all that, and then probably getting 20 years in jail for brandishing, which I know you weren't doing, but that doesn't matter. You're going to get it anyway. So instead of getting this 20 years in jail for brandishing, I just worked out a deal so you only have to go in jail for 6 months. You get $100,000 fine, but we'll work on that. We'll get that lower. We can find a place for your kids. We have a public facility that we can put your kids in. We have a home for your wife. We'll take care of you, and we'll just put you in jail for 6 months. Now, okay, so you get this public defender that can't afford to defend you because he's not getting enough money for it. And you have this public defender that pseudo-defends you. And you sign this agreement saying, well, maybe I better take the 6 months. And even though I was innocent, and I'm using the word innocent and I'm not using not guilty because the court never finds you innocent. They only find you not guilty, meaning that they couldn't figure out how to prove your guilt, so therefore you're not guilty. But in actuality, innocence is what you want. So you say, well, I can't afford $500,000 to prove my innocence. There's no way I'm going to clear that amount of money in my lifetime. So I'll do the 6 months, and 6 months in return for saving $500,000. It's a good deal. So you sign this agreement, and you accept a guilty plea in return for this sentence. Well, a lot of times, and I know one specific situation that I was involved, not personally involved with, that I know somebody was involved with. You sign this settlement agreement, but you say you're guilty. So they put you in jail for 6 months, and then they say, oh no, you're not leaving. Probation board doesn't think you're ready. You weren't guilty in the first place, and you know that, but the probation board doesn't think that you're ready to leave. So they keep you in there for the 20 years, during which time you lose your entire family. There's absolutely no savings left because you never had any to start with. If you had a house, forget that. If you had a wife, is she going to hang around? I mean, would you want her to hang around? How's she going to pay for the kids, and they're in foster homes anyway? And all this for innocence. Now, Vince, you had a fellow on there, Jerry Deskovitz. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
And Jerry Deskovic was a convicted rapist and murderer, and I remember introducing him the first time on the air. I said, I'm delighted to introduce to you your newest instructor, Jeffrey Deskovic. He's a convicted rapist and murderer. And then I paused for a while to let that sink in. Something that you just don't do in radio. You don't have dead air. And like people are saying, I can't believe it. He's got a convicted rapist and murderer, and he's delighted to be on the air. And I said he didn't do it. And he won the largest award ever in the United States, $46 million. And because he was convicted. And all the charges, there was DNA evidence that proved he didn't do it. But, it was Christmas time, and the judge told the jury, look, you're not going home. You're going to stay here until you have a verdict. And so the jury said, yeah, listen, we got turkey, we've got family, we got to get out of here. So let's just convict him. And that's what they did. That's what they did. And he spent 15 years in maximum security. They took the best years of this man's life.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them. And in fact, the Innocence Project comes out with a book, I believe, every year, or they come out with a book every so often. And they'll list 30 or 40 people like Jerry. I believe he used the Innocence Project. Now, they only specialize in murder cases, which I guess if you're going to specialize in something, that would be the best one, because that's the one where people can die for no reason. Innocent people can be put to death. We don't know how many innocent people have been put to death. There's no way of knowing that. But if we can get a few of them out through the Innocence Project, it's one of the places that I put on my list as somebody I'd like to send a few pennies to every once in a while. And they do have lawyers, and I don't know and I guess eventually these guys do win some money. Like in the case of Jerry, I would guess that out of 40, did you say he got $45 million?
The award was $46 million, but before the award, he was involved in a negotiation that brought it down to about $6 million. So he only got $6 million, even though the award was the highest ever. There was a pre-settlement negotiation, which brought it down to about $6 million.
Oh, what a dirty settlement! Can we talk you out of everything you deserve?
Yeah, and you know, he's the nicest guy. He really is. He's mild mannered, and you would think, and I don't understand this, but why? And the term I use is, you know, why their Agent Orange hasn't acted up. You know, why people who have been wrongfully bludgeoned, beaten, tortured, don't come out swinging after all that. You know, it's like, okay, I know where all these people are who made my life pure misery for all these years for something I didn't do. It's trumped up, and they all patted themselves on the back. And you know what a great job we did putting an innocent man or an innocent woman in prison.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Yeah. I agree with you totally. I do not understand it either. And and you have a pretty calm personality. Mine's a little bit more on edge, but I'm fairly calm. Also,
are you serious? I thought I was like on edge all the time. We've got John in Austin, Texas. John, welcome.
Welcome. Hi, gentlemen. On your Innocence Project, just as a side note, a very good friend of mine from my high school days is part of that project, Dorothy Budd. She's one of the founders, I think, of the project.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you still are in contact with him, would you pass along my contact information and my phone number, and I'd love to chat with him, and we'll get him on the air.
Oh, it's a her.
Okay, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear her name. Okay.
Yeah, Dorothy Budd.
Dorothy Budd. Okay. Would you be able to do that?
I think so. I think I can reach out.
All right.
Anyway, what I wanted to, I understand exactly what you're saying, sir, to your guest. I was railroaded pretty hard and lucky to be on this side of the fence, I think. I was in law enforcement 13 years, criminal investigator with the Texas Attorney General's office. And I was recruited into the Joint Terrorism Task Force. And I had a death threat leveled against me in the form of a package made to look like an IED. And they came after me. They said I did it.
Let me see if I've got this right. You were in law enforcement. They were using you, correct me if I'm wrong, they were using you as a tool, and they found you to be disposable, so they came after you.
Correct. They couldn't, I've never been through anything like this in my life. I remember walking in for the debrief. I had case files.
Tell you what, hold that thought. We're going into a break for a few minutes. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration. It might be more than a few minutes. But we'll be right back after these commercial announcements. John in Texas is with us. Gene Lewis is with us, and we'll talk more about what happened to John. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Suffering from illness or disease? Frequently in pain? Overstressed? Always tired? The solution is to oxygenate your cells because disease cannot survive in an oxygen-rich environment. Introducing Vital Ion, the first mineralized edible oxygen in the world. Go to toolsforfreedom.com and get the Miracle of Oxygenation DVD free with any Vital Ion purchase. Call 800-770-8802. That's 800-770-8802. Let Vital Ion edible oxygen be your daily fountain of youth.
By now, you know the smart way to buy emergency food storage is calories per dollar. Ready Supply Foods sells you 50% more food for your money. GMO-free, 25-year shelf life, great tasting, and free shipping. You need 2,000 calories per day under ideal conditions. Most 30-day kits don't have enough calories to sustain you for more than a week. They just don't have enough nutrition to do the job. See the comparisons for yourself at ReadySupplyFoods.com. We are the new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Are you looking to sell body armor? Want to make extra money selling body armor at your local gun shows? With low minimum buys and great returns, Katie Armor is the answer. Make money in your spare time. It's American-made body armor with the quickest turnaround in the industry, which means you get your product when you need it at very competitive rates. And they'll ship it to you for free. If you own a business, give them a call today at 855-488-KATIE. That's 855-488-2284. Or go to katiearmor.com. Come and take it.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Oh,
$10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class, I just got off the phone with Brandon Williams of IronEdison.com during the commercial announcement, and he's going to be doing a special broadcast with us on Tuesday. 2 hours, solar and alternative energy. He's going to bring his team, so we're going to have a round table and prepare your questions. So if you would like to ask the man that I consider the expert in the field, Brandon Williams, the same company I bought our solar system from, IronEdison.com, he'll be with us Tuesday with his team. So please consider that. And the call-in number for you to ask questions is 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. And that number is good today in all of our broadcasts. And we broadcast live from 9 a.m. through 11 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Gene Lewis is with us. John in Austin, Texas. You were telling us that you were a law enforcement officer. You did what you thought was the right thing, as I understood it. And then the next thing you found out was you were disposable, and then you were threatened. And so what happened?
Well, I came in for the debrief, and I had 4 case files with me of individuals I thought that would have had the means and opportunity and certainly the desire to see something bad happen to me, as I had gotten convictions against these gentlemen and they were going to prison. I went after doctors, and as I like to say it, I put doctors in prison. And of course these guys have a lot of money, and they have a lot of money. They can jack with you just to make your life miserable.
Let me see if I've got this right. You're talking about medical malpractice or Medicare fraud or what?
Medicaid fraud.
Okay, Medicaid fraud. Okay.
And there was one particular doctor that I've gotten conviction on. He took about $8 million over the course of 36 months. And he was doing, I believe, 10 to 15 years in federal prison. And he was a pretty bad actor, on top of it. But anyway, I had this package put in front of my house, made to look like an explosive device. I put my son in the car. My wife was out of town. So I was taking my son, he was 3.5 at the time, to daycare. And I got him in the car seat, got all this. I tossed the package up on the hood of my car. And when I opened it, I was staring at 2 wires. And I moved out into the yard, kept my thumbs over the wires so they wouldn't make contact, and managed to get a call off to 911. And the game started from there.
So where did this package come from?
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know.
All right. So do you feel you were threatened by the system, by the same people you were working for?
No. I don't know. I've had, there's been so much confusion, or not confusion, but lies told, like the FBI or somebody, but I've been told it was the FBI, started rumors that my wife had left me, that I'd had a psychotic break. They did this polygraph that was just so far over the line as far as protocol and procedure, to be laughable.
Were you treated as the enemy?
Yes, absolutely.
We're out of time. John in Austin, Texas, thank you for calling in and being with us today. Gene Lewis is with us, and we'll be back. Gene and I will be back for hour number 2. And, Gene, let's talk about some of the tools that we, the villagers, can use, like the public service questionnaire. We can talk about the jury and offensive lawsuits, criminal complaints, ethics complaints, and let's have some solutions for solving these problems that we have. Because if you think about the Beninattis, my neighbors, they're going through a really tough time.
Right, we're not totally defenseless.
Yeah, we'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
For the most amazing, calming, brain-stabilizing, blood sugar, and natural addiction-breaking formula, try CalMind. Anxiety melts, panic is gone, sleep is restful, and you'll stay calm during stress. Better than booze, mind-altering drugs, or anti-anxiety, antidepressant, toxic medications, CalMind lubricates your mind so you'll sail through the day effortlessly. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com and listen to the NutriMedical Report every weekday on the GCN Radio Network. NutriMedical, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Author Gene Lewis is with us. Survival of the Slickest. And Gene, you've got on your website a way that you can read part of your book, and if you'd like, you can order it on Amazon.com. I have a copy of the book. Gene, I was just thinking about. I just wrote a few names down as the intro was running for this segment. And so we have people who are USA Prepares instructors who've been arrested. I've got 6 names right here. We've got Associate Justice Michael Parsons. He's in jail right now. Jeffrey Deskovic, we mentioned him previously. Steve Angle, cops showed up at his door at night. On the weekend, after midnight, he looks out the window, he sees it's the cops. So he's got his .45 in his right hand, transfers it to his left hand, opens the door to find out what's going on, why the cops are at his door. And the cops point a gun right in his face and tell him to drop his gun. He's holding it by the muzzle, pointed straight up in his left hand. He can't shoot it in that position. The cops put a gun in his face, slam him down, beat him up. He ends up in the hospital. Now he's charged with assault on 2 police officers with a deadly weapon. Okay, then you have Bob Estep, who was tased by a cop in Sparta, Missouri, the city of Sparta. He was in his car. He was tased in his car by a cop who pulled him over, suspecting him of driving under the influence. Cop tases him, paralyzes him. He beats him, arrests him, takes him to for a DUI test, finds out, well, nothing in his system. And then we have Michael W. I don't know if you want to mention his name. He's one of our meetup group. He was just arrested. And then you have another Michael who comes to the meetup, and he was arrested. So that's 6 of us.
Wow, an exclusive group, huh?
And then the cops came after me and told me that I went to an event a couple times in Springfield. I paid my $10, showed up at a preparedness event. It wasn't ours. And, I was dressed nicely, and the cops came and they asked me if I was Mr. Finelli, and I said, yeah, what's up? And they told me that I had to leave and I said, or what? They said, or you'll go to jail. So this is, I don't know what in the heck is our problem. I guess we just don't take direction well, and these guys in these clown suits just don't like the fact that we don't submit easily to their abuses.
Well, and we're talking about people who are pretty much innocent. We're not talking about people who are going around and with a baseball bat and just breaking windows and destroying people. And we're not talking about people who are even going around inciting riot or calling other people names. We're talking about some pretty good people, some kind people.
Yeah, you had a chance to meet the Beninati family. There's 7 of us, because he was arrested. Jeremy Beninati. He was on his own property, and some jerk called his neighbor called Child Protective Services, and then they called 911, and then the cops show up and they aim their AR-15s at Jeremy Beninati. His back is turned toward them, and the cops pull their rifles on him. I mean, really? These guys are these. Well, let me ask you. You met the Beninatis. What? Did they look like they were violent? Did they look like they were thugs? Or did they look like the rest of us?
Well, I listened to them. Obviously, I don't have any other details other than what I heard. But what they said sounds plausible. And there used to be a day when we had a right to private property, when we had constitutional protections in the Bill of Rights for private property. They're all gone, but there used to be a day that we had that, and it was in my lifetime. So there are no constitutional protections anymore, and how can you own property if the very people who are supposed to protect that property are not doing it? By the way, I'll say one quick thing here about that. There is no duty of police to protect you. And there was a court decision, which I don't have in front of me, that basically said, the police have no duty to protect you. So if something happens to you while you're waiting for them to help you, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're not liable for it. And so if they have no duty, what do we need them for? If you hire a private security company, they do have a duty. And if they don't try to protect you, you can drag them into court on a civil suit anyway. But you can't do that with the government. Because government has no duty to protect you. And that right there, I guess, says a lot. So.
All right, let me add an exclamation point to what you just said, if I may, Gene. Mrs. Finelli and I were at a gun show in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. And I thought that the ideal handgun for my wife was a Para-Ordnance LDA in 45 ACP. So it's a 45, light, double action 45. Looks like a 1911, in case you're wondering, class. And so we were looking for one, and I wanted her to feel every single handgun that she might like. So we We looked at revolvers. We looked at everything you possibly think of, and pulling back the slide and so forth. And there was a guy there who was walking around with this unusual, not rare, but there aren't a lot of these power ordnance LDAs in 45 ACP. And there was a guy that was selling one, and he had blue jeans on, and I said to him, "Would you mind showing that to my wife?" And he thought that was really unusual that I would say that, because normally it's the wife saying, "Could my husband look at that?" So he said, "Sure." And he said to me that he was a cop. He was a cop in Virginia, and he was selling this for somebody else, which really made me suspect of it. I didn't know if it was a setup or what. And he said to my wife, "Look, we don't have any obligation to protect you. You need to have your own protection. You need to have a gun." And he said, "And don't put it in your pocketbook, because if it's in your pocketbook and your pocketbook strap is over your shoulder, somebody can come from behind you, grab your pocketbooks. Now they have your gun, your wallet, your license, your money, everything." He said, "You need it on your person. You need to have it in a holster on your body." And he said, "And we don't have any responsibility or duty to protect you. You got to do it yourself." So what I'm saying is, he said exactly that. Now we didn't purchase that from him because we really thought it was very unusual, because he was selling it for someone else. And if he were not the owner of it, and if he weren't selling it as an individual, we weren't going to buy it from him as an individual. And you don't need to have a registration to buy a handgun from an individual. But we thought, really, this didn't seem quite right, so we didn't do it. Anyway, he said that they have no obligation or duty. Yeah,
but look at the situation. They so you have this group of people, this group of thugs that steal money from you, and they call it taxes to make it sound neat. And so they steal this money from you, and now they're not required to provide there's no liability on their part, no requirement on their part to do anything. So I guess that's true about all thieves, I guess. Thieves don't have to be accountable. So, by the way, I just want to say one other thing. There's not only criminal problems like we're talking about, or government problems, and that's right, I'm calling some of these government actions as criminal. We not only have those, there's also a lot of civil things. Anybody can sue anyone else. And there's a lot of terror in back of that, because you have a lot of frivolous lawsuits going on in court. Frivolous meaning lawsuits with no merit from the point of view of natural law or God's law, and no merit from the point of even the law that we were provided by man. And so anybody could be sued by anyone else, and when someone is sued, they still have to defend themselves in court. And it's really tough. So hopefully we can talk about some of these ways to try to at least hold our ground.
Let's do that right now.
Okay. So you were mentioning earlier on in this broadcast about telling this policeman or telling this mayor in Lebanon that you were going to expose his practices to the entire world. It's expose the policeman to the world. Okay, and I did. Great. Okay, so there's the first, I would say there is one of the first things that you should keep in mind. Now, all of these tools are available to use, and there's a lot more than we're going to be able to talk about, that I even know about, that you even know about. But they're tools, and just because you have 16 different types of screwdrivers in your toolkit, and 7 different types of soldering irons, and a lot of other different types of hammers and such, does not mean you have to use them all, or that it's even going to help if you use them all. So having these tools available is the most important thing, and knowing that they're available is the most important thing. So the first one that I would say is based on what you spoke about is shine the light. And anything that you can do to shine the light, and remember that pretty much as a basic theorem, as a basic strategy that you should be thinking of at all time, that you want to shine the light on these people. You want to get these cockroaches out into the sunlight and then just let them be exposed. And there's a lot of scare involved in that. And we're seeing that today in what's going on in the political world. You know, there's a lot of light shining going on, and the cockroaches are starting to rustle around.
Gene,
So,
you know, the Beninati family, we shined the light on the prosecutor, and we gave out the name of the alleged state representative, Tony Duggar. We gave out his phone number in Wright County, Missouri. And do you know that prosecutor removed himself from the case because one of our instructors, we shined the light, and one of our instructors called from Kansas City, and he said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make this guy an offer. We're going to let him keep his job as a prosecutor for now. But if he doesn't drop this by Friday, what we're going to do is expose him and his mother of criminal activity. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Joe Acapenti. And the prosecutor backed out. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX or my website, danpilla.com.
Class, Gene Lewis is with us today, and I know Gene Lewis. I've spent a lot of time with him at the meetups. And if you'd like to get a copy of his book, you can go to Amazon.com and you can type in Survival of the Slickest or Gene Lewis, Louis. Gene, we're talking about the tools for fighting back. Can we spend a little bit of time on, where would you like to start? Public service?
Well, can we say a little more about Shine the Light or about the Beninatis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now they had indicated to me when I was at the meetup that they had hired a lawyer and we should really not interfere with anything a lawyer wants to do. So what could we do? And by the way, the reason you don't want to interfere is because they're paying this guy money. You don't want to do anything that's going to cause them to have to spend any more money than they would be. And if they decided to do it in a different way, then, they could be helped in a different way. So they have a lawyer, but you don't have to, go to this guy and tell him what to do or try to give him any ideas or try to put some ideas in his mind. One of the things that you could do is, if a judge is ever assigned, and by the way, if the prosecutor resigned, there might not be another prosecutor, and hopefully there's not. But if there is,
well, there is one. There is one, but she's new. And not only is she a new one, she's new to being a prosecutor. She's only done it for a couple months. And, the interesting thing is that, she was prosecuting sexual crimes of which, the guy who called, Child Protective Services and 911 on the Beninatis and also the Beninatis neighbor, I've heard is allegedly a sexual criminal. So this would not bode well for him. So there's a good chance that the county may say, this isn't worth it. We'll just forget the whole thing, which would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, putting up resistance and causing them to have to spend a lot of money that they don't want to show on the books, is really another tactic. That's another tool. Now it's going to cost you time also. But if your time is basically just writing letters and spilling the beans, it's actually costing them more than you. And keep in mind that if the taxpayers start to say, hey, what are you doing this about? The taxpayers are going to say, well, let's throw the bums out if they're going to waste the money on these things. So shining the light there is a good thing. Another thing that could be done, is that, I assume then that there will be a judge assigned, if not yet. And people who know the Beninatis and know the situation could actually write a letter to the judge and just tell the judge, hey, I don't see anything here that seems to, make sense. And, I just want to say that I stick up for these people. I've known them for so many years or whatever, and they're good people or something like that. So you become a friend of the court and you write a letter to the judge and he'll put that in the file. You don't have to go through anybody's attorney. You're doing this on your own. I guess those are just, two things. Now you said you wanted to, yes?
We're going to court. We're going to the hearing. There are about 20 something of us who are going to attend and we're going to take notes.
Oh, is that still May 5th?
Well, I don't know the new date. I don't know, and I will announce the new date as soon as I hear.
Yeah, I'm on the mailing list there, so I assume I'll hear too. And I just want to say one thing that I spoke to Vince about last night. And when you go in the court, and of course, if they're listening, it doesn't really matter because they're going to find out anyway when we're there. And when we say we're there, I'm going to try to be there too. As many people who are willing to do this as should. Now, this is a rural area. It's a rural part of the country. Most people just don't get dressed up when they go in the court, and actually even in the cities, but more so in the rural areas. People will wear overalls and just work clothes and just go in the court like that. So I would venture to say that if there's a lawyer on one side and the lawyer who's also called a prosecutor on another side, they're going to come in with some pretty nice clothes. And then the judge also will have pretty nice clothes. Everyone should go in there with good clothes so that you can be on the same level as these people.
And that's a really good point. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do, class. And we're supporting the Benenattis. We're not going to let them get run over by the system. Gene Lewis is with us, and when we come back, let's talk about this public servants questionnaire. You're going to love it. You really are.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com. So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Hi there. Are you an unhappy timeshare owner? Have you ever asked yourself, how can I get rid of my timeshare? Does your story go something like Stacy's story goes? Here's Stacy now.
My husband and I went and visited a resort, and they kind of attacked us, and they kept sending more and more people until we finally said yes, and we bought this timeshare, and then we were stuck in this timeshare that we couldn't get rid of, and we tried all different ways. They made it seem like it was this really great deal, and when we said no originally, then they brought the price down, and then when we still said no, they brought in the manager, and they brought the price down even lower, and they started breaking out in different ways to make it look like it was this really awesome deal. The reality was it wasn't an awesome deal at all.
To cancel your timeshare contract, call ACC today. It's an attorney-based program with a free consultation. The first 20 callers get a 20% discount. Call now, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948. Call today, 800-587-EXIT. That's 800-587-3948.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Destroy harmful bacteria, allergens, bed bugs, dust mites, fleas in your home with the Ladybug Steam Vapor System. The Ladybug dives deep on surfaces without any toxic residue. Traditional control agents contain toxic chemicals which do more harm than good. Sanitize and disinfect using just water. Quick, fast, and surprisingly easy.
Find out more now by calling 800-997-6584. Ask for Randy. That's 800-997-6584. Or go to advap.com/GCN. That's advap.com/GCN.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Dean Lewis is with us, class, and you can go to Amazon.com and type in Survival of the Slickest or Gene, Louis, and you'll find it. Gene, I've got in my hands the Public Servants Questionnaire, and I've put a link on the website to where you can download your copy, class. It's absolutely free. And, you know, the Census Department sent one of their thugs over to the farm, and I guess I didn't provide enough information. They wanted to know how many Mexicans we had here, and I told them I wasn't going to tell them how many Mexicans we had here, nor any other or any other people like Germans or Indians or I wasn't going to tell them because I was only going to enumerate the number of people who lived here at the farm on a specific date. That's all I was willing to do, and that's all I'm required to do. Well, they decided to send another person to try to intimidate me, and it didn't work. It did not work. So I went after the Census Bureau to get these people fired for harassing me and putting in their database that I was uncooperative, hostile, and armed. And, well, some of that was true. I mean, I was armed. They showed up at my house uninvited. I keep the gate locked now, but, what do you do when these thugs show up at your house? They don't call and ask for an appointment. They just show up. And a lot of them have guns. So, Gene, you've got this public servants questionnaire. Tell us about that, please.
Yeah, okay. This questionnaire, by the way, is not something I designed. There's a lot of people that have put this up on the internet. You can just go into the internet and type Public Servants Questionnaire, and you'll find many, many, many different variations of it. And you should not use it as is, and you should really rewrite it. I don't know if there's any copyright on it, but you should rewrite it anyway. Most importantly, so that you actually understand what it says. Because if you hand it out and you don't understand what it says, it's going to be pretty much useless, because this is something that you could use in court if is necessary. Court is the last resort, but you always have to consider the fact that you might need to use that last resort. And just as if you have a gun on you, that's your last resort, but you're always considering what you'd have to do to maximize your chances of winning on that last resort. So this Public Servants Questionnaire is based on public law, a public law which you can download and you could read it, a public law that says that there should be safeguards provided against the invasion of personal privacy. And it requires federal agencies to allow an individual to determine what records pertaining to him are collected, maintained, used, or disseminated by such agencies. I believe this was violated by the NSA, and they never told us anything about it. And I don't even know if any of the newer laws that have come into existence override this. But it's still there. You can type in Public Law number 93-579. You could read it. It's on the Cornell Law site. It's all over the place. And as I said, Congress does things every day to change things. But as it stands right now, let's just assume that public servants have to follow this law. And if they don't follow this law, there are penalties, because there's no such thing as anything the government requires you to do without a penalty. Otherwise, they wouldn't require it. So someone comes to you, and by the way, this is would be extremely helpful in a situation, if the FBI wanted to question you. I would kind of think that perhaps maybe Martha Stewart would never have gone to jail if she had first asked them to fill this out. And because you want to know exactly what these people are up to and what they can do. So, I'm just going to quickly go through some of these. I think you have a copy also, Vince, but there's like 28 questions. There's like 28 questions on here. And I'm going to go through, however, why you would want these answers. So you ask for full legal name. That's the name that's on their birth certificate. That's the only name you want, because if you want to sue them, that's the name you want to sue. And if they ask you, you can tell them that that's the purpose. And, okay, and you kind of think, well, maybe that's kind of crude. You have to keep in mind they have the power of the nuclear bombs to come after you, and they will. And so, this is no point of being polite. This is a threat. This is an absolute threat. Now, it's not threatening if they're just asking you for some simple information, but if you don't provide it, you don't know what they're going to do. You have no idea. So you need to provide this form of protection. So you ask for their full legal name. You want their residence address. Say, wait a minute, you're asking us to give up our home address? Yeah, and by the way, the IRS only gives out numbers now, if you can even get them on the phone. They won't give you any legal names or any addresses. And they might give you a first name that might be a fake name. And I think that violates this public law, but it's really difficult to challenge that in court. But let's go back to this, because you can use this form, and if they won't fill it out, you can use this as a basis for not cooperating with them. You could say, well, look, they have this intention of throwing me in jail because anything I say can be used against me. Now, if they haven't told you that, the judge could come back and say, well, they haven't told you that anything could be used against you. Say, all right, well, let's have them come here and let's ask them, can anything be used against me? And of course, they can't say no. And they don't want to say yes. So this form does have some power. So then you're asking them for the name of the department, bureau, or agency who employs them and their address and all that. And you need all this for a possible lawsuit. You're collecting information for a lawsuit. You're not collecting information to pick it in front of their house. You really want to be prepared for a lawsuit. You can give this to any lawyer or do it yourself. And you're asking for the supervisor's name and all his information. And so the first question is, will the public servant, or whoever his name is, will you uphold the Constitution of the United States? Now, this is something he doesn't want to say yes or no, or may not even know how to answer. Yes, I will uphold the Constitution. And now you got him, because the Bill of Rights has all of these protections in it. And if he says no, of course, you could take that in the court and say, this guy's not following. He took an oath, and he's not following that oath. So maybe this guy needs to be discharged from his job. Okay, we'll go through some of these others quickly. Did the public servant furnish proof of identity? So you don't only want him to write down, you want to see his driver's license or passport. You don't want to see a card issued by the state, because that could have been made up. You want to see his driver's license or passport. And you can say, well, now wait a minute, that's unfair. When you go, well, in some states, in Missouri, when you go voting, you have to show your driver's license. If a cop stops you, you have to show your driver's license. So why can't they show theirs? So you ask for a proof, and then, of course, if they provide a proof, you can write in the questionnaire that they provided it. What was the nature of proof? You can write that down. Provide a copy of the law or regulation which authorizes this investigation. Now, of course, they're not going to know. They're going to have to take this to an attorney to fill out. And it's just they're just not going to come back again. Because when they provide the law, now you have a copy of the law. You can download it. You could read the law and see if they are working within the law. If they're not, Okay, will the public servant read aloud the portion of law authorizing the questions he will ask? Are the answers to the questions voluntary or mandatory? And in other words, am I required to answer these questions? That should be rewritten. Am I required to answer these questions? Or, is it something that I'm just voluntarily doing? And of course, if they say it's voluntarily, then, you'd be crazy to continue along with it. If they say it's mandatory, At that point, you want to know, again, what is the law that is mandating this, and also what is the penalty for not cooperating? And by the way, I've tried that on. I know some people do that more than me, but I was campaigning in a public park in New Jersey, and the police told me that I needed to leave, and I said I'm not leaving. This is a public park, and so I asked to see the mayor, and the mayor came up, and he said, you got to do this. And the township lawyer came up, and he said, yeah, I know. You could probably file a lawsuit against us and get an injunction, but you'd have to get that done tomorrow because today's Sunday. So if you want to do that, go ahead and file an injunction, meaning me. I said, well, of course, that's not going to help me stay in the park today. So when the police came and they said, we're going to escort you out of here, I said, well, what if I don't come? And they said, oh, no. We will escort you out of here. And that's it. So, but you can ask them what is the penalty if you don't cooperate. And what is the basis of the investigation? Have you consulted, question, interviewed, or received any information from any third party relative? And here's one thing about the census that I found out. If you don't open the door, they will start knocking on the doors of neighbors and start asking questions about you. How often do you see this guy? What kind of car does he have? What do you know about him? And I've had investigators, not from the census, but from other organizations, do that for my neighbors. And I don't cooperate with them. And, they want to ask questions. Well, where's this guy work? Do you know? And such, because he won't cooperate with them, so they get the information from somebody else. So you want to know, have you consulted, questioned, interviewed, or received information from any third party and identify these people? So you want that information, and they have to provide it, by the way, or it's not admissible in court. I want to say something. I'm not a lawyer. I'm an investigative reporter, and I'm a consumer advocate. So I'm telling you these things from a consumer point of view, not from a legal point of view. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm not allowed to do that. You can get that from a lawyer. But I can give you consumer advice. And as far as I know, there's no laws against trying to help somebody receive some consumer advice. So that's the basis of the public law questionnaire. There's more in that. You could download it.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit more when we come back. And Jane Lewis, would you recommend that when we get audited by the IRS, we smile and say, it's so great to meet you. Before we get started, let's fill this out.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll let you know what happens. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Hey guys, Pat Matthews here to tell you about the newest and best way to sell products online. It's buysellmakeoffer.com, an enormously revolutionary way to sell your stuff online. It's time to clean out the garage, your old golf clubs, sports equipment, tools, and yes, even your car. Forget about the way the other guys have taken more than their share from you when the sales were finalized. Look, it's happened to me over and over and over. Then I found buysellmakeoffer.com. They will never charge you item fees. Just go there right now to sign up and load all your stuff to our server to sell. This is not an auction site. Sell your car, sell your home. Realtor, sign up now. Just use our resources along with Skype and videos, then add your creativity to sell your items quickly and with no fees. Go right now to buysellmakeoffer.com and sign up. The excitement is building. I've signed up to sell my stuff with buysellmakeoffer.com. You should too. buysellmakeoffer.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Something shocking just happened in a Coast Guard unit in San Diego. The old guys in the unit have turned the tables and are now destroying the young bucks in head-to-head fitness tests. How is this even possible? Turns out the old guys in this unit have been part of a special test group for a doctor-formulated fountain of youth drink called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens has been so effective for many of the older soldiers that it's made their achy joints, stiff muscles, and lack of energy a thing of the past. Previously, this drink was only available to elite military units. But for a limited time, the creator of Patriot Power Greens has set aside a small number of free sample packs specifically for our conservative friends. But you must act fast. Due to the high demand from members of the Coast Guard, our supply is extremely limited right now. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. That's greens75.com. greens75.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Class, Gene Lewis is with us, and you can go to Amazon and type in Gene Lewis, Louis, or Survival of the Slickest, and find out about his book. Gene, what would happen if the Beninattis used this public servants questionnaire and provided a copy to the judge and to the prosecutor and to the sheriff and to the deputies and to the state police, who all are involved in these actions against the Beninati family?
I think I lost you. Are you still there, or did I?
Yeah. What would happen if the Beninati family provided this public servants questionnaire to the sheriff, to the highway patrol, the state police, the prosecutor, and the deputies who are all involved in this action against the Beninati family? Wouldn't that be great?
Actually, a variation of this would be fantastic. This public service questionnaire you could call it an interrogatory. When there's a lawsuit, you're allowed to ask questions of each other, and they call it interrogatories. And you ask these tough questions, and you can use that information in court against them or for you. And I definitely would want to get some information from the prosecutor. But once again, they have a lawyer, and you're really interfering with what he's doing. And one of the problems with this whole thing is that he's going to charge you for every little thing that you ask for. And it's terrible that it has to be that way. And that's why I really like to expose this whole system that makes it so difficult to defend yourself without having to spend tons of money. But I personally would want answers from the prosecutor, maybe not specifically from this questionnaire, but I would initially ask him to supply everything he's got against you, everything, every piece of evidence, every name, everything that he wants that he has. And so you want to see what that information is, and he has to provide it, by the way. By law, he has to provide it. And if he brings in anything in the court that he has not provided, you can ask the judge to strike it. And, I'm going to have to say something here. We're only on the first item here, and I wrote down 6 tools, so we're going to have to go into the third hour.
Hey, Gene, we don't have a third hour. We haven't been promoted yet, but I'll tell you what, we can do next Friday if you'd like.
Yeah,
so we can,
it's probably not going to be easy for me, but we're in touch. You can get back to me again, and
sure.
We'll do more. But I just thought I'd mention that. I wanted to be a little light here, so.
You've got a few minutes remaining. What would you like to share?
Okay. All right. I just want to say the second aspect of tools that you can use, shine the light. There's tons of stuff available. The second one would be threaten the well-being of the person who's attacking you. Once again, if somebody pulls a gun on you, you're not going to worry about their well-being. You're going to worry about your own. And these representatives have the power of nuclear bombs. I keep saying that because they can go as far as they can just to get rid of you. So you threaten their well-being by threatening their license, their jobs. Of course, you do that with shining the light, but there's other ways of doing it. And I think that's what we would be really good to talk about in the future. How do we threaten the well-being? Maybe we could talk about more shining the light and then threatening the well-being. And I assume that, if we are able to do another interview, that you'll put it up on the website, your website, so that people will know that will be, that I'll be back here and I'll be talking about that subject. Do we have time to talk? All right.
Gene, we threaten the well-being, the livelihoods by just where these people live. What are their cell phone numbers? Who they are. Put their pictures on the internet. That's a lot because these rats don't like the light of day, and they really don't like it when their family feels pressure because dad's picture or mom's pictures on the internet and things that are being exposed about them. And that's the way it seems to work. It really works well. Class, Gene, thank you so much for being with us. Gene
Thank
Lewis.
you.
Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, a place for mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.